I'm going to swap the extruder, well, the hot end on this P1s. Because it keeps jamming up on me. Pull those connections out. I cheat, I have a electric screwdriver. You don't have to take that one all the way out, just enough for it to come out. This one, straight to the magnet bed. Straight to the magnet bed. And then one more over here. And that's that. And then you got this little ribbon cable up there. And that's it. Those three together. So, as you can see, my nozzle is bent. So it is having issues feeding. And the hot end fan keeps giving me intermittent fault codes, so we're just going to swap this whole hot end out. And then we'll take apart the extruder just to make sure we don't have any clogs in that. Yeah, so that's pretty shit. No big deal. Doesn't look like I have anything in it, but just for the sake of checking while we're here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all 4 of those. You should be able to pull it apart like such. Relieve the tension off of the side. And you should be able to pull the extruder gear up. This is what we're looking at. It's not too bad. You see the filament inside there. So what I will do is take a wire brush and clean these out. Looks pretty good to me. Dump the spring. Grab a little piece of filament like such. I like to run it through just to make sure the path is clear. No issues there. Good. Alright, so that's clean and clear. We brush these off. Slide it back in, drop that back in, the spring and the top hat go in as such. Try to drop it in so that way you want the spring to be on top of that little arm. And then fall in like such. Tighten it back up. Easy peasy. Put this back on. Oops. Just make sure you're putting it all back together the right way. That goes that way. Just like that. And then screw that on. Snug. You don't need to over tighten anything, it's just plastic. Plastic. Take it hot end we already have assembled, a 4L. Put it in as such. Double check my wirings. I clip this little end off here because it's always been a pain to just to tuck the wire in. You don't have to. Leave it that way if you'd like. Tighten that one. Another one. And that's that, and then these will all tuck back in. Let's get this one reassembled over here. So, might be a little hard to see. Kind of set it in. Pull one screw on. Of course, you can do this with the tools they give you. It's just I have so many of these printers. Oops, wrong hole. Over here. That'll keep that snug. That's only 3 for the whole extruder. Cool thing about the magnet plate is when you drop it, they just land here. That's why I always take the build plate off before I take these apart. That way my dirty hands don't mess with the adhesion issues. So I don't get adhesion issues. There's that. That's all 3 of those. This cutter looks okay. We'll reuse it. Slide that in. Snug in this freely. This little ribbon cable, we want to make sure we're lined back up. Push it in, seat it. Same at the bottom. Make sure we're lined up. Alright, back again. Same deal. Ribbon cable, make sure you're lined up. 1, 2, 3. Last one's for the fan. Typically I would blow all this out, but I did it earlier. So that's all 1, 2, 3. That's why I cut that little clip off because it's easier just to put everything. That works. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those. Snap back in place. Well, let me pull this off. This is a printed guide I made. I think I found it on Maker World, honestly. Push it in. Clip it down. And voila. Typically they tell you to go ahead and run a calibration after you pull the extruder out. It depends on how bad it was for me. Usually I'll just run a benchy and look at it. If it looks fine, then I rock on. If not, I run a calibration. We'll let this boot up. I'll send it home and we'll get a benchy printing. So I'm pulling all these little hairs and dirt and crud out of this fan. I'm assuming this is why I was getting the abnormal fault code. Now, I usually just keep enough parts on hand to just throw it away and start fresh, but I figured I think I've already got it apart, and I figured I'd see if it would spin. Looks like I got all the filament out of it. Let's see. There's another piece right there. Now, most people don't. Yeah, look at that. That would be enough to slow down that little motor. Fan, whatever. It's pretty wild. Anyway, save a couple bucks here. I did pull the hot end apart because, as you can see, the nozzle is bent. So I will save all these pieces. And then I will prep. I'll put these all together. I got some thermal paste over here. I'll put all these together, and then I will have a drop-in ready hot end like this. That way I have no downtime.